I'm Roxanne.
And I'm Catherine.
It's Two Girls Strong. It's Two Girls Strong.
Today we are talking about the media that shaped us. For me, that's focusing heavily on queer media, but I also want us to get into talking about the effect media has had on our identities, how we see ourselves, the effect of social media, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I think you mentioned that for you it's queer media heavily. I think maybe now for me that's the case, but not necessarily in my formative years. I don't think that's the same for me in my formative years, although if I were to look back at my lens, I think I could. There's some signals.
You're talking about formative years, and for me, it wasn't that the media was queer necessarily. From those years, I made it queer.
What do you
Like
mean?
I found the queerness in, and you know what? Now that I'm older, I found out that a lot of people had the same experience. So I'm gonna just get right into it and talk about, for example, Matilda. Do you know that Miss Honey was gay? I mean, no. In the film Matilda, do you know that Miss Honey is a queer icon?
I've been made aware, yes.
So as I got older, I realized I wasn't the only little lesbian who had a crush on Miss Honey. Did you have a crush on her?
I don't think I had a crush on Miss Honey. I think I wished I was Matilda. Not that I wished for her life, but I wished for her gumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you interpret that as a queer media as you got older?
Not me personally, honestly, but maybe you can just tell us why it was for you, why you
Yeah.
feel it.
Well, to be honest, I don't, for myself, didn't know how to articulate it. Maybe because she adopts Matilda and the two of them live happily ever after. But I think maybe because Miss Honey is nurturing. She's not married to a man. She's kind of on her own. And she still adopts Matilda. She stands up to Miss Trunchbull. She's like single-minded. She likes books. She has the whole preschool teacher vibe. So I don't know. Yeah. So I think that's like already the fact that she wasn't married to a man and she adopted a child and had like an alternative family unit. I think already was like signal to my little brain that this is something different. This is not like the usual kind of family structure I've engaged with.
Yeah, that makes sense. What other media do you think had a real significant impact on you in general, not necessarily only your queerness, in those, like, in your formative years?
Yeah, in my formative years, definitely, I think watching Janet Jackson music videos. My mom had a habit of whenever there was a beautiful black woman on TV, a woman who had a natural hair, she would make a point of telling me she's beautiful so that I could feel beautiful. But of course, I was like, oh, she's beautiful, is she?
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, now that you mention it, she's fine. So don't think it was my mother's intention.
No.
But yeah, like I had a crush on Janet Jackson. There's the Together Again video where she's like in this utopia with people of different races with like there's like kind of a queer, like the song is about a queer friend I think who passed away. And they like it's got this kind of Afrocentric feel to it, and she's got a natural hair and she's dancing and she's got a septum piercing, and it was just like so unlike what like everything else I was consuming. And it was I think the fact that it looked alternative, even though it was a mainstream video, it's my mind read it as alternative, and that was something that I wasn't sure whether it's like I just have a crush on her or I want to be her. You know the line. I'm not going to say it, but Janet Jackson did it for me. What about you? What was like media that shaped you when you were younger?
I think when I was younger, I was really into animated stuff, and like to the point where I know that I was still watching cartoons and things like that, like well before, long after it was like cool to still be watching that kind of thing. But I used to love shows like Just Ginger, Pepper Ann, Rugrats, And I think what I really liked about those shows, again, like similar to what I was saying about Matilda, I especially loved it when there was like a girl protagonist, like the main character was a girl, and she was just like getting up to mischief. And I loved the storybook, Pippi Longstockings, like people like little kids who had independence and was just having fun. But then I know for sure I also had crushes on some animated cartoons as well, even though I didn't realize it. Like I 100% had a crush on Esmeralda from
Yeah, me too.
from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, she was so hot.
Yes.
Like, how can they draw a cartoon like that? It's like, can you guys just chill with a pencil?
Yes, exactly. And Meg from Hercules. I even had a lunchbox, but I just liked it then, obviously, shame.
Yeah.
But I definitely had crushes. And then I was the youngest in my family, like by quite a significant amount of years. And I think I would also like sneak watch stuff. And that was, it wasn't that hectic. It was things like Living Single and Friends. I remember, for example, asking my dad one day, just randomly asking my dad, what's a virgin? And then I just said, I can remember this. I don't remember a lot of things, but I remember this very clearly. He looked at me with his eyes went a bit big, but he stood there and he looked at my sisters, who they were all teenagers and they were like watching Friends. It was normal for them to watch Friends, and he asked them, where did she hear this? And then they like, I don't know. And then he asked me, where did I hear this? I was like, Friends. And he told me. He told me what it was. He didn't like come up with some other thing, which I really appreciated. I was just like, oh. So there was also that aspect of watching adult, like PG stuff as a kid, like watching when my older siblings would watch that, and that influence, like I 100% thought and imagine the shaping of that would be like I imagined that I would be living in the same block as my friends at this age.
Yeah, same. Yeah. So I thought life, it was definitely like aspirational. The media I watched informed how I thought my life should be. It's funny that you say that so you had to ask your dad what a virgin was. Being raised Catholic, I knew what a virgin was. The Virgin Mary, and people talk about it all the time. So I was very clear about what that was. But yeah, I like back to your point, like imagining my life. The media definitely informed that, and a big one for me as I got older was the L word. Like when I knew I was gay, I didn't have the language for it. I didn't know I was a lesbian, but I knew something was up when I was 5 years old already. Then as I became a teenager, I was like, lesbian. And then I started to try and find media that. So I went to the library. I read this book called Out of the Shadows. It was a pretty hectic book, though. It's like, why are the gay books always so depressing? Like in the young adult thing. Yeah, anyway, I read that. I read a book about Katie Lang, which is like, she's a country singer. And yeah, it was just like saw queer imagery for the first time. And then the big moment was the L word. The L word came into my life. My first real job, besides working at ShopRite, I had a job after that. Working as a waitress. I spent my first paycheck and I bought an L word DVD. And it shaped so much of how I for good and bad. It shaped like what I thought a lesbian was. So yeah, well, I can go into it, but I first want to hear what was like the kind of your teen media consumption like.
Yeah, and I also know you still watch Our Word.
Oh, yeah, I love to watch it. Like, we watch all the time,
and we're so much more critical of it now.
Yeah, now we're kind of like, oh my word, I used to think Bet was hot, and now I'm like, she's a mess. So she's still hot, but a hot mess.
Yes.
That's the definition of a hot mess. She's hot and she's a mess.
Yes. Yeah, I think for me in my teen years, like music videos was a big deal, but also magazines. And in my teen years, I was so insecure. And I had all like, I loved having the like the centerfold of not centerfold, but it was of the U magazine.
The middle of the U magazine.
Yes, and like the posters of all the celebrities, and I love my pop culture. I love Britney Spears. I loved like that Jennifer Lopez music video. If You Had My Love is still like I can see that. So music videos was a big part, but then also like in magazines, I think that insecurity was very much fed by the way media critiqued women's bodies in quite an intense way in those years. When I was a teenager, like Hit magazine is an example where the front cover would be a circular zoom in of a celebrity's cellulite.
And she would be thin.
Yeah.
Like, by all accounts, she would be skinny. If you looked at her now, she would be skinny. But the way they critiqued women's bodies when we were teenagers, like, I still have trouble showing my belly because I'm like, I need to be stick thin because of that indoctrination. I am still healing. Are you still healing from the trauma of, like, the way women were treated in the media, like, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in those years where your body's changing and you just like we're all judging ourselves quite harshly during that puberty years. And that's probably the skinniest I've ever been. And I was so shy of, well, not that you have to be skinny, but you know what I mean? Like, I was in shape. I was working out.
Yes.
I had no reason for me to be feeling insecure.
Yes.
And I would like be so scared, shy of my stretch box and things like that. But that was like just very normal to see a zoom in on something like that.
But you know, Roxanne, it's not just the media. Like, I think growing up in the colored community, like, I don't know how many times when I was thin and my body was developing, I heard aunties or like people in the family or neighbors like just commenting on my body, telling me, oh, you're getting fat. And like just always commenting on how I looked, commenting on my complexion. My grandmother commented on my complexion. I mustn't be ashamed that I'm the darkest one in the family. No, she said the brownest one in the family. Yeah. Commenting on my complexion, commenting on my hair texture, commenting on my breast, on my back. It's like just a never ending like onslaught of like everyone's opinion about my body. It's actually like, now that I'm thinking about it, pretty fucked up. Pretty messed up.
Yeah. It is messed up. I'm thinking about the time that I got a comment about my hair and my fringe would like just be wild. And then someone's grandma, like a cousin's grandma, and their whole family had straight hair, told me she can get sellotape for my fringe. And it's like, shame. And I didn't tell my mom because I didn't realize it, but I still remember that.
Yeah.
I still remember that. But it was also like then reinforced by media because I can still see the like shampoo adverts. Like there was never, ever, unless it was like about a relaxer. And even then that was very scarce to see on TV or something like that. A woman with curly, it was always like white woman with straight hair. And and I think another part of my earliest Barbie is that I love Barbies and things like that. And that also influenced, I think, my body image, although my parents were really conscious of like they spoke to me about that this is not the standard of a woman's body. My brother had like this picture of Cindy Crawford as his like the computer's wallpaper, or Cindy Crawford or what was her name from Baywatch?
Pamela
Anderson, like interchangeably, and my dad spoke to me about that. That's not like the standard of women's bodies. So I really appreciate, like I didn't really grasp with him. I still went through my insecure time and all of that. But I was really grateful that they noted that. But looking back, I wasn't looking at those images for myself. I was admiring. I had out my eyes for those pictures as well. But it was actually quite an intense time and very different to now.
Yeah, and I think also at that time we had to actively also seek out Black women that we could see ourselves in. You know, like the status quo. I mean, still to this day, the go-to is a white woman, but I think there are a lot more Black women role models for us and queer women and stuff like that for us to see ourselves in. But like it was an effort to find those, and I guess that's also why I appreciate my mom always pointing out that Black women were beautiful. But yeah, it was work, and so like Janet Jackson was one. Scary Spice, big.
Spice Girls, massive.
Yeah. Big deal that there was a Black Spice Girl. Not loving that she was called Scary. because I think that's loaded. But love her, love that she wore hair naturally and she was just like rambunctious and out there. And then also like locally in South Africa, like not always turning our eyes to America or the UK to find role models, but finding role models here.
Yeah.
And seeing women that we could admire here in South Africa.
Boom shaka.
Yes.
Epic.
Yeah. Epic. Kim Engelbrecht. Kim Engelbrecht.
You still have a crush on her now.
But I remember the first time I saw her, she was on Take 5. I was small. And my mom was like, "It's my mom again." She was like, "She's so bubbly." And I was like, "Who is this?" And then I think she was Lolly in Isidingo. Yeah, she was just out there and like in your face, and I admired that. Bonnie and Bully, who played Zandi in Backstage.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like I had a crush on her, but yeah.
Brenda Fassie being openly queer as well.
Well, I don't know. I don't think she was openly queer.
Well, I mean, she
Wasn't it if you know, you know type of thing?
Not from the interviews that I have seen. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Losha Cooper, like seeing colored women also, black and colored women on TV, important. Yeah, so yeah,
the Rainbow Nation is with things like new media was coming in.
Yes, Jam Alley. Oh, what an amazing time when we had like just this amazing cross section of TV media.
That was actively in like there was intention to shape us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now shape our confidence.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And make us visible and be seen.
Yeah. There wasn't that much, I think, queer media. Except like on a Codblanche episode. And I wouldn't.
Well, that's what I think about. I suppose if you're thinking about those teen years, Will and Grace was a big one.
Yeah. Oh, heartbroken.
Yeah.
That was a big one. But yeah, for me, the big one was the L word. It helped me understand queerness and made being in a relationship with a woman like aspirational, like something that looked good and felt good, and they were successful and they lived in a beautiful home and they were all about the arts, and that really helped me see like, fuck, lesbians are cool. Like, in fact, like I guess I have to be cool in order to be a lesbian. I must be cool and fashionable.
Yeah. I think like something for me in terms of like the things that shaped me in terms of queerness, I think the first time I saw like two women making out in media was, again, the thing that I just popped up for the Britney Spears and Madonna thing, but that was like obviously performative. But there was this really cool British show called Bad Girls. It was like a prison show, and that was also one of those things that I watched. Sort of, I wasn't watching it. My older siblings were watching it, and I was just there. I just happened to be there. Honestly, sometimes the door of the TV room would be like slightly ajar, and I'd be looking in between the gap. Ridiculous.
Gay!
Yeah.
And what about like more modern media?
I think now a big source of media that I'm watching is like Drag Race and Queer Ultimatum. Like I'm actually like, that's so sad.
We have so little. Like lesbians, queer women, we have so little, and they cancelled the one messy thing, the one thing of sliver of trash TV we had.
Yeah, and they didn't cancel the whole Ultimatum show.
And honestly, the straight one,
boring.
It sucks. I mean, they're all toxic, but God.
Yeah, so I think now I'm actively consuming more queer media and looking for black characters, black women characters, or just also I mentioned US-based productions now, but also looking outside of the US for media that I'm watching, and actually watching South African films that are coming out, and I really like Indian. Now recently I watched the Indian show, Korean shows, South American shows, and also like Eastern European shows, but just outside of the US. And I'm still, if I was completely honest, that's still like the main source of my media that I take up, or take in. But I'm also actively trying to diversify what I'm taking in. What about you now?
Yeah, same. I'm trying to diversify. Not only like TV shows, although I do love The Hunting Wives, the sea. Lots of sex scenes. Love it. Love the trash. Like, I'm leaning into trash TV. Not like reality trash, although I do love the ultimatum, the queer ultimatum. I like this. I like It's like Desperate Housewives for lesbians.
Hunting Wives.
Yeah, Hunting Wives. Yeah, trying to mix it up.
You love your YouTube.
Oh, I love YouTube. I love watching people's lives, like actual people's lives. Also, now recently got into reading to you, reading lesbian novels. Lesbians, advice: read novels to your partner. You'll thank me later. But yeah, reading, yeah, lesbian, uh, like, reading lesbian novels. It's been
Been
something.
fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. Short stories, all of that. It's nice.
Yeah, totally. And I think now that you mentioned books, like it's so nice for me to be reading just a frivolous novel versus like a whole lot of personal development stuff, especially because of my work and things like that. It's just really nice to take a break from that, like reading personal, because I think that's really a big kind of media that I'm taking in, like personal development stuff for myself, but also to help me with the work that I do. And then I think we can't really talk about media that's shaping us now without speaking about social media. We met on social media. We started on Facebook, our contact on Facebook. Very cute. But social media is such a big source of media that I'm taking in. But it's really lovely to see just average people's, not just like celebrity based content, and then also like there's like the lovely part of that, and then there's also the real part of that where it's not just news that has a time slot where when we were younger there was a time slot of news that our parents would watch. We could engage with it or not, but now with social media we learning about people's lives in difficult spaces and difficult places and experiences, all kinds of experiences we're being exposed to from the source.
Yes. Yeah. It's the upside, I think the beautiful side of social media is that it connects us to other people. It's amazing, like, to learn about the lives of people who live a life that's completely different to yours. And you get to learn about their struggles, like, especially through this genocide. Social media has been such an informative tool to empathize and to mobilize.
Yes.
But then, like, conversely, I think the toll that social media can have on your mental health, and I don't just mean because of consuming intense media, just in general, the consumption of social media is, it can take a toll on you because you, first of all, waste a lot of time and you don't live in the moment. You are and you can compare yourself to other people. So it's like there are two sides of the coin for me when it comes to social media, and I'm constantly navigating my relationship with it because I actively see how it impacts my life every day, for good and bad.
Yes, and it's specifically designed to be addictive as well. So it's not it shouldn't be a surprise that our phones and things are like an appendage to us. But I think really it's important in this conversation just realizing how much the media that we consume does shape us and shape the way we see ourselves and the way we imagine our lives and what we think is possible, and good and bad.
Yeah, it's very important to be mindful about the media you consume. And honestly, like, not just say that, like, really be mindful of the media you consume. Question its intent, especially in today's day and age. Question, like, where the media comes from. Diversify the stuff you consume. Like, think about it. Think about, like, how it actually impacts your life. Slow down a little, maybe, for me. That's what advice I give myself is I need to slow down with it.
Yeah. And also just like shout out to the people who are outside of the like core part of media or powers of media who are out there doing their thing and sharing news stories and creating serious, fun, frivolous stories, especially I would say outside of the US and people of color. That's like I love that. I'm loving it.
Me too.
Whether it's like again like the just outside of any kind of norm or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And you know what? Like, having said that, like, shout out the US for shaping a lot of the good stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff that I love comes from the US. So, like, no shade with that. But it's really nice to have alternative perspectives and to know that the world isn't anchored in, like, one viewpoint and one perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been a nice
And
chat.
shout out to you also, like being part of it with your music
Yeah.
as well.
I
Like,
make
not even
media.
speaking.
And we're making media right now.
Yes, yes. And yeah, we just want to be influencing, and we have stories that are worth sharing as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just different perspective. It's an alternative perspective.
Love that.
Love that. Love you.
Thanks for joining us on the Two Girls Strong podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can connect with us on Instagram at 2girlsstrong or email us at 2girlsstrong@gmail.com, and that's with one S. See you next time!